How would you like to be listed in Hebrews 11 as a person of faith?
你會唔會想咧喺希伯來書啦第11章列到信心咁多偉人嘅時候咧，有你喺裏邊咧？
That'd be nice, right?
如果係有你喺裏邊，咁就好啦。
Might be, maybe.
係可能啦，可能係好啦。
Now, today I'm going to talk about someone who's listed in verse 32 Hebrews 11.
想睇下咧喺希伯來書第11章第32節講個人喎。
And his name is Barak.
佢個名咧32節就係巴拉。
Not Obama.
唔係奧巴馬。
But maybe his mother named him after this guy. I don't know.
奧巴馬個媽媽係用呢個名㗎。
I don't know. It's the same name.
係同樣咁樣叫法啦，就唔知係咪因為咁啦。
And in chapter 11, he's listed as a man of faith.
喺希伯來書第11章咧，就列佢為信心嘅人物。
And if we didn't know anything else about him, that would be fine. Okay, great.
如果我哋唔知道咧佢嘅事蹟咧，都冇乜嘢。
Right. But we can learn more about him and what happened, and we can learn more about his story in Judges chapter 4.
嗱，如果我哋唔知佢個名咧，咁就由自可啦。如果知道嘅話咧，咁我哋就一齊睇下士師記第4章啦，睇下有啲咩咧喺佢身上咧，我哋可以學到嘅。
And if we read Judges 4, then we realize that his story, while it's inspiring, is also interesting for other reasons.
當我哋去睇佢嘅故事嘅時候咧，除咗好啟發我哋有嘢去學到之外咧，其實個事嘅本身咧都好有趣嘅喎。
And in Hebrews, there you could maybe put a little asterisk by his name. Barak, a man of faith, a little asterisk by his name. See note.
即係整個，總之整粒星咁樣咯。落去嗱，你可以咧喺希伯來書巴拉個名嗰度咧，標誌起呢一個人個人名喎。
And here's where I say maybe. I'm not sure if I like myself listed as a person of faith.
你未必會將呢個人放。
No, me. I might hesitate to say. I'm not sure if I want my name listed there.
Scott 咧佢自己咧就喺度諗啦，我自己咧我未必會能夠咧可以納入信心嘅偉人嘅其中一個。
Because while I may have done some things of great faith, you may look into my life and see other things.
因為咧可能咧做一件即係可能，如果自己真係落入信心偉人嗰個名單上面啦，可能只係因為有一件事係好有信心咁樣做到啫喎。但係當你去睇翻我嘅一生嘅時候咧，可能你會發現其他嘢啦。
And this is the case with Barak.
所以對於巴拉呢一個人嚟講咧，就有類似嘅情況啦。
So let's go back and look and see what happened with him in Judges chapter 4.
睇下喺士師記咧關於巴拉嘅故事係點記載啦。
And the situation was that Israel in Judges repeatedly in a cycle of about I think 7 times. Israel as a country fell into idolatry. God used other countries to punish them. The people cried out to God. God sent a judge to save them. The judge saved them. Everything was fine. The judge died, and the people went back into idolatry. And this cycle happened 7 times.
喺士師記咧，你留意嘅話咧，似乎重複又重複嘅發生嘅嗰個循環咧係點樣咧？就係以色列人佢哋走去拜偶像喎，於是咧就有咁，於是咧佢哋又求神啦去幫佢啦，神咧就派一個先知派一個士師嚟幫佢哋啦，然後咧 佢哋幫咗佢哋啦，救咗佢哋啦。到嗰個士師死咗之後咧，佢哋又開始去拜偶像啦。咁啊循環啊，大概咧有7次之多。
Judges 4:1 said the Israelites once again did evil in the eyes of the Lord after Ehud died, one of the previous judge.
士師記第4章第1節咧講到話以色列人咧喺以弗死咗之後咧，即係呢一個士師死咗之後咧，佢哋又做上帝咧看為惡嘅事啦。
So the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin, a king of Canaan who reigned in Hazor.
於是咧，上帝就將佢哋賦予喺夏所作王嘅迦南王耶賓手中。
And the commander of his army was Sisera, who lived in Harosheth Hagoyim.
咁呢一個耶賓咧，佢嘅將軍係西西拉咧就住喺外邦人嘅夏羅設呢一笪地方啦。
So you don't have to remember the names, but there was a king who cruelly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years, and his commander of his army was Sisera. And we can remember that name, Sisera.
簡單嚟講咧，就係有一個王啦，佢對以色列人咧好殘暴嘅欺壓佢哋嘅，超過成20年㗎啦。咁佢手下有位將軍嘅，將軍個名你可以記住啦，就係西拉。
And Sisera had 900 iron chariots.
西拉咧，佢有用鐵做嘅馬車啦，有成900架咁多喎。
And this is very a strength, a great strength.
佢有好大嘅軍力嚟嘅，表現出。
If you didn't have any.
因為如果你一架都冇嘅話，咁佢有900架，梗係佢勁啲啦。
You know, imagine going up against some tanks.
係啦，你諗下喎，嗰啲鐵做嘅馬車，如果佢攻擊一啲帳篷嘅話，咁梗係馬車實際啲啦。
Let's say you know you're fighting and you've got some bulletproof armor, you've got a nice helmet, and you've got an M16.
咁啊，譬如你去同人打交啦，咁樣或者你打仗啦，咁你就着住啲避彈衣啊，戴埋頭盔啊，揸住個武器就係一支 M16。
And you're pointing that M16 at a tank and shooting.
咁你將你支 M16指住個帳篷，然後開槍。
And all the guys on your sides have guns.
咁你嗰邊嘅士兵全部都有槍嘅。
And maybe a few grenades.
有啲手榴彈添，可能。
But the other side has 900 tanks that are rolling towards you.
900
tanks.
坦克車，但係咧對面咧就係點啊？就係有900架坦克車喎。
So you can maybe imagine something like that, very intimidating.
所以咧嗱，你可以睇到咧，即係我哋見到以色列人嗰個敵人咧就好有軍力喎。
After 20 years of cruel oppression by this king, the Israelites cried to the Lord for help.
呢個耶賓王咧，嗱呢個王啦，咁佢大欺壓以色列人20年啦，咁於是以色列人呼求耶和華。
And Deborah, a prophetess, verse 4 tells us, was leading Israel at the time.
當時咧，以色列嘅士師咧就係一位女性嚟嘅，叫底波拉。
She held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites came to her to have their disputes decided.
佢住喺以法蓮山地拉馬同埋伯特利嘅中間，喺底波拉嘅棕樹下邊，以色列人咧，咁喺一棵棕樹下邊啦，咁以色列人咧都想去聽佢嘅判斷。
She was a prophetess, she was the leader of Israel, and she was a judge.
佢咧係先知啦，亦都係以色列人嘅領導啊，亦都係士師啊，亦都係咧即係士師嘅意思咧，即係佢去判斷一啲嘢嘅。
Verse 6, she sent for Barak, son of Abinoam, from Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, "The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go, take with you 10,000 men of Naphtali and Zebulun, and lead the way to Mount Tabor."
呢個底波拉咧就打發人從耶弗拿弗他利嘅基低斯，將亞比拿煙嘅兒子巴拉召咗過嚟，對佢講：耶和華以色列嘅上帝吩咐你話， 你率領10000拿弗他利同埋西布倫人上他泊山去。
I will lure Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his troops to the Kishon River, and give him into your hands.
我必使耶賓嘅將軍西西拉率領佢嘅車輛同全軍往基順河，到你那裏去，我必將他交在你手中。
Now, Naphtali and Zebulun were the tribes of Israel that were nearby that place.
呢度提到咧，底波拉啦，叫巴拉啦，去揾10000拿弗他同埋西布倫人啊嘛。其實咧，拿弗他同西布倫咧就係以色列嘅其中2個支派，佢哋住得好近嗰笪地方嘅喎。
So essentially, Barak was told, get some guys from nearby.
個意思咧，即係話啦，就同同巴拉講啦，你去附近揾啲人嚟。
Well, some guys, 10,000 men,
10000人啦，去打仗嘅。
And go to a certain place, and I'm going to help you.
去他泊山嗰度，我會幫你嘅。
I'm going to give you the victory.
我會我會帶嚟勝利嘅。
And if I were Barak, here's where I would hope the story would just stop.
如果我係巴拉嘅話咧，我會希望個故事就咁完
And there would be
嚟到呢一度。
a missing place in the manuscript.
咁啊，就算係個故事講到一半都好啦，我都寧願喺呢一度完啦。
You know, some pages torn out of the diary.
就好似咧一本日記咧，有啲頁數俾人搣咗咁樣。
Now let's just stop right there and sort of jump to the end and say, Barak did it. He did it. He did what Deborah said.
如果我哋將個故事一跳去最尾嗰度睇啦，我哋見到巴拉咧真係有按住大波拉指示嘅咁樣去做嘅。
He took his men to the place he was told.
佢帶住呢2個支派嘅人去到指定嗰笪地方。
He fought the battle and he won.
打完嗰場仗啦，贏埋。
And he killed every single one of the enemy's army.
將敵人咧趕盡殺絕啦。
Well, except one.
不過咧，又除咗一個人。
But he won the victory.
佢贏咗㗎巴拉。
And this is his faith.
呢個係佢嘅信心。
We can look back and see the story and say, yeah, easy, sure. God tells him to do it, sure, go do it. No problem. Easy.
當我哋睇翻個故事，睇翻轉頭嘅時候，哇，好簡單嘅事啊！神叫佢做，佢就做，咁咪成功咯。
I would have done the same thing.
換轉係我都係咁，咪啱咯。
Well, I don't think it was that easy.
但係其實咧，諗深一層，係真係咁容易咩？
Cruelly oppressed by this king and his army for 20 years. And with and this army, by the way, as we said, with good equipment.
呢個王欺壓咗以色列人足成20年喎，喺佢手上仲有大嘅兵力喎。
So even if you're, a commanding soldier, it's still going to not be that easy to go up and lead this battle and fight this fight.
就算就係有呢一個背景啊，令到咧，就算係上帝叫你啊去咁樣去打，都唔代表佢容易啦。
But he did it.
但係佢有做到喎。
So we can say he was a man of faith.
我哋所以就係因為咁樣，我哋可以話佢係信心嘅偉人。
He had enough confidence and hope and assurance about the future that he couldn't see to go and do what God told him to do.
就好似希伯來書11章第1節講到啦，佢有嘅信心係足夠令佢去睇見一啲未發生嘅事。
A big difficult thing.
係又大又難嘅事喎。
Now here's the little asterisk by his name.
但係咧，我話打粒星喺佢個名度嘛。
When Deborah told Barak to do this, I would say in English, he blinked.
好啦，當大波拉諗翻啦，一開始啦，當大波拉將個指示話俾巴拉聽嘅時候，佢就 斬咗一眨眼。
Maybe we can say that. He said, "Yeah, I'll do it, but you've got to go with me and hold my hand."
巴拉就話啦，得，如果你陪埋我去，我就去咯。
Now this was where his faith, he stumbled a little bit in his faith.
喺呢一個要求嗰度咧，令我哋覺得佢好似都唔係有100%嘅信心咁。
And Deborah said to him, "Very well," verse 9, "I'll go with you, but because of the way you're going about this, the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will hand Sisera over to a woman."
咁咧，底波拉咧就答佢啦，得，我可以同你一齊去，不過咧就係因為你咁樣問啦，所以咧你呢件事上面得唔到榮耀啦，而上帝咧會將西西拉交喺一個婦人手裏。
Barak, in his fight, in his effort, he killed every man in the enemy's army except the leader, except Sisera.
巴拉咧帶住咧呢一啲以色列人啦上去打仗啦，咁啊殺盡晒啲敵人啊，除咗呢個西西拉啊嗰個領袖嗰個將軍。
That's like the best part.
似乎咧佢樣樣都做足晒，爭咗最重要嗰一樣未做。
That's the part you really want to get. The most satisfaction you will get as when you're fighting the enemy is to catch the leader, catch the king, catch the commander.
咁你打仗啊，既然係咁，你梗係要捉嗰個主帥㗎啦。咁啊，好似就係爭在呢一樣最重要嘅嘢咁喎。
And in that is where a lot of the glory would lie.
咁如果捉到主帥，就梗係有榮耀啦。
And Deborah says, "Well, you're not going to get that honor because you didn't have full faith."
底波拉咧就話你唔能夠得到咧嗰個完完全全嗰個榮耀啦，因為你唔夠信心啦。
Can I say a tent wife instead of a housewife? A tent wife in her room, inside her tent, is going to do the job that you, manly man with muscles on your muscles, and 10,000 men couldn't do.
咁嗱個故事繼續發展啦。如果你有睇嘅話咧，你就知道咧，如果廣東話嚟講咧，就係有個師奶去做咗一個即係去打仗個主帥做嘅最重要嗰樣嘢啦，就係個師奶就收拾咗人哋嗰個主帥啦。
Now I don't see this as sexism or chauvinism. I see it as irony.
我哋咁樣講咧，唔係話歧視啲家庭主婦啊，我哋只係覺得係好諷刺啫，呢件事咁樣發生。
The leader of Israel at the time was a woman.
當時咧，以色列人嘅領袖啦，就係一個女人嚟喎，即係嗰位士師啊，大哥啦。
And it's ironic.
已經係有啲諷刺啦。
That what the strong soldier and his 10,000 men couldn't do, a housewife does.
呢一個你哋成班牛高馬大嘅士兵，成萬人喎，都做唔到嗰樣嘢，咁啊呢個小主婦就搞掂咗啦。
And then the shine of this victory, Barak's victory, he loses a little bit of the shine.
咁所以咧，巴拉咧雖然係贏咗場仗，好似有啲美中不足啦。
Let's read a little bit. So so here's what happened, verse 12. When some people told Sisera that Barak, son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera gathered together his 900 iron chariots and all the men with him.
有人咧話俾西西拉聽啦，嗱呢度係打緊嘅嗰場仗，佢就話咧阿巴拉咧已經上咗他泊山㗎啦。
And they went down to the Kishon River.
咁於是咧西西拉就聚集所有嘅鐵車，佢嗰 架鐵車啦，同埋佢全軍喎，由外邦人嘅夏羅設咧出嚟到基順河呢笪地方。
And remember, Deborah went with Barak, and she was with them, and she said to Barak, "Go, this is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you?"
底波拉咧就同巴拉講啦，去啦，你去啦！今日咧就係上帝咧將西西拉交喺你手嘅日子啊！上帝唔係喺你前頭咩？
So here's the hand holding.
嗱，就好似咧底波拉湊住阿巴拉咁樣。
It's this sort of encouragement and support and a little motivation that he needs at his side.
第14節咧，底波拉同阿巴拉講嗰啲説話咧，就好似係推佢一把，等佢去做咁樣喎。
So Barak went down Mount Tabor, followed by his 10,000 men. At Barak's advance, the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and army by the sword, and Sisera abandoned his chariot and fled on foot.
於是咧，巴拉咧就帶埋佢嗰1萬個士兵咧嚟到去咗塔博山啦。耶和華咧令到西西拉同埋佢嘅車輛全軍潰亂，喺巴拉面前咧被刀殺敗啊！巴拉咧就西拉咧就落車走喎。
But Barak pursued the chariots and army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim. All the troops of Sisera fell by the sword; not a man was left.
巴拉追趕車輛軍隊，直到外邦人嘅夏羅設，西西拉嘅全軍都倒在刀下，沒有留下一人。
Now, as I looked at the map and looked at all these places, it looked like that the army fled this way. Barak and company pursued them this way, and Sisera went this way.
咁咧睇地圖嘅時候咧，就見到嗰啲西西拉嘅軍隊咧就向住呢邊咁樣走啦，向住呢邊咁樣走。咁巴拉咧啲軍隊又向呢邊咁樣追喎，但係咧西西拉咧自己一個人咧就去咗反方向咁樣逃走啦。
Where did he go?
佢去邊咧？
Well, he went to his a place where he thought he would be safe.
咁當然梗係去一個佢認為可以安全嘅地方啦。
A tribe or family that was friends with the king of Hazor, Jabin.
咁咧佢哋就去咗一個咧西西拉咧就去咗一個聯盟嘅地方啊。咁咧就係亞夏所王耶賓咧，即係佢個大老闆啊，西西拉個大老闆啊。同埋咧，另外有一個希尼人希伯家，佢哋咧就係聯盟嚟嘅，大家係友好嚟嘅。咁啊，於是西西拉就去咗嗰笪地方喎。
And so now he's got a head start. Sisera's running away, but he's on foot now. But he has a head start. The others, Barak is not real close. I mean, he's got to deal with the big fight over here before he can come and pursue Sisera.
咁西西拉咧就去咗，阿巴拉咧就唔得閒去捉阿西西拉啦，因為仲有好大堆軍隊要去處理㗎嘛。
And so Sisera comes to this place where he thinks he's safe, and a woman, no idea how to say her name, Jael, maybe? Jael went out to meet him and said, "My lord, come right in, don't be afraid." So he went into her tent and she covered him up with a blanket.
咁佢嚟到咧希尼人希伯家嗰笪地方啦，咁啊希伯個太太咧雅億咧就嚟去接佢啦。咁啊就等佢可以舒舒服服咁樣休息下啦，咁冚張被，幫佢冚埋被添。
And you must imagine that he's exhausted, tired, thirsty.
打完仗梗係又渴又攰啦。
He lays down, she puts a blanket on him, and he asks for a drink. "Please give me some water."
西西拉啦，咁啊瞓低咗啦，然後就話佢頸渴喎，請俾啲水佢飲。
And Jael gave him milk, gave him a drink of milk, and covered him up.
雅億咧就呢個太太咧就俾咗啲奶佢飲喎，然後咧揾張被幫佢冚埋被啦。
And Sisera he's still the commander, telling people what to do. He says, stand in the doorway of the tent, and if someone comes by and asks you, is anyone here, say no.
西西拉咧做慣將軍噶嘛，梗係指開人噶啦，咁所以咧佢就同人哋嘅老婆講啦，就話你請你企喺個帳篷個門口啦，如果有人問你話裏邊有冇人啦，你就話冇啦。
Now he's got some faith here.
都係一個信心嚟噶嘛，係咪啊？佢信得過人哋個老婆喎。
He's got some misplaced faith.
但係咧呢一個信心咧，顯然係信錯咗人啦。
Now here's where you got some good pictures on the internet. Look up this little scene. But Jael, Herbert's wife, picked up a tent peg and a hammer and went quietly to him while he lay fast asleep, exhausted. She drove the peg through his temple into the ground, and he died.
咁呢個咧，人哋個老婆咧雅億咧就攞咗嗰啲釘住帳棚嘅嗰啲牆嗰啲針咁樣啦，鐵釘咁樣啦，咁啊拎埋個錘添，咁啊趁西西拉瞓緊覺嘅時候咧，就由佢個太陽穴就將啲口釘咧一釘到落地啦，咁就死咗啦，西西拉。
If you put this picture in a children's Bible, it won't sell very well.
咁當然你喺兒童聖經故事應該揾唔到呢一幅圖嘅，我會咁講。
Well, here comes Barak. He's
咁巴拉
tidied
追
up
到嚟
affairs
啦，
over here, and he couldn't find Sisera, and he got on the trail. Maybe he had a horse. I hope he had a horse. So anyway, he found the trail, and he made his way to where Sisera was. Found him.
巴拉咧搞掂晒啲軍隊之後咧，就去揾西西拉啦。咁啊，佢可能係騎住馬啦，咁啊佢真係揾到喎。咁啊見到雅億。
Now he might have missed him, but he went by the place where he was, and Jael came out of the tent and stopped him.
可能咧，巴拉都唔係完全清楚西西拉喺邊嘅，只不過沿路去揾嘅時候咧，雅億咧就出嚟去揾巴拉。
Come, she said, I will show you the man you're looking for.
佢話嚟啦，我知道你揾緊邊個，我帶你去見佢。
So he went in with her, and there lay Sisera with the tent peg through his temple, dead.
咁啊，於是咧就入咗雅億嗰個帳棚，見咗西西拉死咗。
Now, I don't know, all these guys trusting this woman.
係咯，
that could have been a trap. I don't know.
都幾得意喎！西西拉又信呢一個人哋嘅老婆，咁啊就俾人殺咗啦。而家又
Never go into a strange woman's tent.
而家又到巴拉啦，見到人哋嘅老婆又走去信，人哋叫佢入個帳棚，佢又入去喎。咁啊，理論上唔好跟啲陌生人走噶嘛，係咪？
On that day, God subdued Jabin, the Canaanite king, before the Israelites.
咁嗰一日咧，上帝就使迦南王耶賓被以色列人制服啦。
And the hand of the Israelites grew stronger and stronger against Jabin, the Canaanite king, until they destroyed him.
從此以色列人嘅手越發有力，勝了迦南王耶賓，直到將他滅絕了。
So Barak had a commission from God.
巴拉咧，神俾咗命令，俾咗指示巴拉，
Had a big job to do.
係一件大件事嚟嘅喎。
And he had a clear message to do it.
巴拉好清楚自己要做啲乜嘢。
He knew what he needed to do. No question.
都好清楚個指示，都冇任何嘅唔明白嘅地方。
And he went forward and did it with 90% faith.
佢照做，但係咧似乎就冇十足十嘅信心。
And he gets the credit for it in the New Testament as a man of faith.
但係佢仍然咧喺希伯來書咧可以躋身信心偉人榜嘅其中一位喎。
But he did hesitate.
但係佢有猶豫嘅時候。
And because he hesitated, he lost some of the honor that he would have had he done what God asked him to 100%.
就係因為佢有呢啲猶豫啦，佢就唔能夠咧完完全全去享有神一早為佢預備咗嘅榮耀喎。如果佢按住神嘅指示去做，佢可以完完全全去得到嗰啲榮耀嘅。
So, interesting thing, sometimes God is fine with sharing the glory with people.
喺呢件事上邊咧，我哋覺得有趣嘅地方係原來上帝都唔介意咧將榮耀咧去咁樣去分開佢喎。
Now, sometimes people, there's the problem that we talked about before in some of these other instances of faith where people tend to take the glory and leave God out of it.
有啲人咧即係之前我哋都睇過一啲例子啦。有啲人咧淨係想得到榮耀，但係咧就唔想遵從上帝，或者唔想將上帝放喺佢生命裏邊。
And God says, I know there's going to be this problem of pride, and so I'm going to make it so that there's just no way that you can claim any glory for yourself.
神咧知道咧驕傲咧就係個原因啦。咁所以咧佢上帝咧都提醒我哋啦，冇人咧係可以咧自誇，即係我得到嘅榮耀唔係由我自己嚟㗎，即係神俾我哋知道，冇一個人係可以自己誇口自己嘅。
That's how it was with Gideon.
咁對於基甸嗰件事嚟講，我哋梗係睇到啦。
300 men.
300個人啫喎，就打低人哋啦。
But in this case, Barak was in God's plan. It was fine for him. I'm gonna send you out, and you're gonna have the glory for winning this. That's okay. That was the original plan. No problem.
但係喺巴拉呢件事上邊咧，神俾咗指示佢，一早就預咗佢要贏㗎啦。咁我似乎好簡單嘅啫喎。
But by not having that 100% full confidence to go out and do what God wanted him to do, Barak was in essence robbing himself of something.
但係就因為咧巴拉自己咧冇100%嘅信心啊，冇足夠嘅信心，所以咧佢就好似咧自己令到自己冇咁啲榮耀咁樣。
And no one robs themselves.
其實就好似咧自己打劫自己咁樣添，冇人會特登去陷害自己㗎。
Robbers rob other people.
咁我哋通常都係陷害人或者係搶人哋嘅風頭啊、榮耀嘅啫。
Barak accidentally, without knowing it, was robbing himself of something.
但係巴拉就點咧？巴拉佢可能唔係佢嘅動機嚟㗎，但係佢就係唔覺意令到自己冇咁啲榮耀啦。
And here's, I think, the lesson for us today.
呢一樣相信就係今日我哋要學嘅嘢。
God has things for us to do.
上帝咧有嘢俾我哋做嘅。
And by faith we do them.
我哋憑住信心去做。
Well, a lot of times what it takes to do those things that God has for us to do is faith.
有好多時候咧，神叫我哋做嘢啦，其實最重要嘅重點唔係我哋真係做嗰樣嘢，而係我哋要有足夠嘅信心。
Now, I don't think we're facing physical fights and wars commonly now. Us.
我哋咧唔似以前聖經嗰個時代咁，啲人真係日常生活可能就係打仗咁。
But we're all fighting some kind of spiritual war in our lives.
但係反而咧，如果唔係講緊呢啲埋身肉搏啦，而係講緊咧屬靈嘅爭戰咧，我哋就每一日都係會繼續經歷到。
I think there are 4 areas where God has something for all of us to do.
有4個範疇嘅嘢咧，相信係上帝想我哋去做嘅。
Do good things of 2 kinds. I'll call them big good things and little good things.
第一樣咧就係去做好嘅事啦，有一啲就大件啲嘅，有啲就細件啲嘅。
The other thing is God has things for us not to do.
第二樣咧就係有一啲嘢係神唔要我哋做嘅，就係唔要我哋犯罪啦。
Bad things not to do.
就係嗰啲唔好嘅嘢就係
And I'll divide them into 2. Big bad things not to do and little bad things not to do.
咁又分兩樣啦，就係有一啲大件啲嘅唔好嘅事就唔好做，有啲細件啲嘅唔好嘅事亦都唔好做。
And now as we face each one of these different kind of situations, we have to decide, make a decision, whether we're going to do that good big thing, do that good little thing, not do that big bad thing, not do that big little thing. We have a decision to make.
就係每一日咧，我哋就要不停去作出抉擇，就係我哋要唔要做呢件大嘅好事，或者細嘅好事，定係咧我哋都要去抉擇，唔好做呢啲大嘅壞事同埋小嘅壞事。
And the decision we make is based on our faith.
我哋點樣去作出抉擇啊？就係憑信心啊。
Hebrews 11:1. What is faith?
希伯來書第1章咩係信心啊？
Being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see.
信就是所望之事的實底，是未見之事的確據。
And we can go for that good thing to do. We can go for it 100%, full confidence, or we can go for it 50%, hesitating, slowly, in fear. Some faith, some fear.
我哋去做呢啲好事嘅時候，其實係可以100%滿有信心咁樣去做呢一件應該做嘅事嘅。但係有陣時咧，我哋就可能會有猶豫喎，帶住咧只係得一半嘅信心去做呢件事。
Same on the do not do the bad thing side.
就同樣嘅情況，亦都可以應用喺咧做嗰啲壞事嘅事情上面嘅喎。
I can confidently, strongly, with peace, walk away from that bad thing quickly.
我可以滿有信心，100%嘅信心，完全唔去做呢一件壞事。
Or I can walk away looking back like Lot's wife.
又或者咧，我嘅選擇亦都可以係唔做，不過好似有啲留戀咁樣，又擰轉頭望下，行兩步又擰翻轉頭咁樣望下，就好似咧舊約聖經羅德個太太離開所多瑪同俄摩拉嗰陣時咁樣。
And encouragement for today is when you do any of those with less than 100%, you're robbing yourself.
今日咧想提醒大家啦，無論係做好事或者唔做壞事，我都鼓勵你去全心全意、10足10嘅信心去做好事或者係唔做啲壞事。
We read a verse this morning in James which fits this very well.
今朝早主日學嘅時候睇到雅各書咧，都好切合而家呢個我哋講緊呢樣嘢。
125, James 125.
雅各書1章25節。
James 1:25. But the man who looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues to do this, not forgetting what he's heard, but doing it, he will be blessed in what he does.
唯有詳細察看那全備使人自由之律法的，並且時常如此，這人既不是聽了就忘，乃是實在行出來，就在他所行的事上必然得福。
There is a benefit and a blessing in doing what God says.
當我哋聽從上帝嘅指示去做嘅時候，我哋會得到祝福。
What are we afraid of?
我哋驚嘅係啲乜嘢呢？
What are we afraid of?
驚乜嘢？
Well, Barak was afraid of dying, probably.
巴拉可能驚嘅就係驚死啦。
What are we afraid of?
咁我哋又點呢？我哋又驚啲咩呢？
That thing that you know you should do or you shouldn't do, but you're afraid to do it, or you're afraid to do what's right. What are you afraid of?
嗰啲你知道係應該要去做嘅嘢，而你又冇去做喎，咁係因為驚啲乜嘢呢？
And if you're going to decide to do it,
如果你係決定咗去做，
Why not do it wholeheartedly?
點解唔全心全意去做啊？
Why do it half-heartedly?
點解係唔湯唔水咁
If
樣
you
做
do it
咧？
anyway,
既然你都要做㗎啦，
do it 100%.
咁咪全心全意去做咯，
And don't rob yourself.
就唔好咧去令到你自己咧少咁呢個榮耀。